Coming up, college kids were able to radio the International Space Station. We're pretty sure that Iran may have launched a satellite, maybe? And Google Earth is now Google Mars. All that and a whole lot more coming up on this February 6th edition of Spacevidcast Live. Okay, well, I'm jamming the music. Welcome to Spacevidcast. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me is the beautiful, lovely, wonderful, talented, and Ben Credible.
How could I be Ben Credible? We've already gone over
everything that I'm around.
No, patient. Can we say patient?
Patient.
All right,
Terry
that I'll
Higginbotham.
take.
We are the Spacevidcasters, and we've got an action-packed adventure-sode for you today. Actually, I wanted to just give a bunch of kudos to everyone who has been commenting. Something out of the blue changed. And we've had just a ton of comments on
Actually,
this.
Robert is in our room.
Oh, fantastic.
So everyone say hi to Robert. Robert, Roger, and Ryan, I believe, are the three guys who've been
commenting away. And, you know, and the beautiful thing is, they don't always agree with what we have to say, and even
with each other.
With each other, or even what we say in the live show. And unlike other shows, we welcome that. If we screw something up, certainly call us out in the chat room and say, you know, let everyone know. We don't want to spread misinformation. And we didn't. You know, I think I proved my points generally.
I do often. Sorry. I apologize right off the bat.
But it's been awesome. So if you haven't, go to spacevidcast.com, comment on all of these shows if you're watching it on YouTube or wherever you're watching it from. And that's just been fantastic. I also want to give out a shout to Yuri's Night because I forgot why I'm shouting out to him.
What do you mean?
Well, they did a thing, and I was supposed to.
Oh, well, Yuri's Night, every once in a while, we'll just throw something out. We follow them on Twitter, and you should too if you're on Twitter. It's just at Yuri's Night. There you go. Thank you, Starbucks. Anyway, they kind of gave us a shout out a little bit of, actually specifically to STS-119 and the SS Discovery, which are also Twitters that we handle. Well, Starbucks handles quite a bit. But they said, you know, you can follow the two of those on Twitter, and you can also talk to, or you can also follow us and see all the progression of the STS-119 and Discovery on spacevidcast.com. So I thought that was really cool.
Now, because STS-119 will be launching not this week, not next week, but the week prior, this week's show is going to be...
Later, not prior.
Later, yeah.
Right.
Those words go here. We're not going to be covering a whole lot of NASA in this particular show. We're actually going to be doing a lot of space travel, or privatized space in this show and the next show. And actually, do you have the prizes for the Twitter trivia?
I do.
This is very cool. This week's prize, I'm a little bit jealous of. I kind of want these. And OM won this last week as well.
Yeah, OM's not here, so I kind of feel bad.
Well, he can watch the on-demand video.
These are exactly what OM is getting because we are sending these off to him because we didn't get ours in enough time to present to you, so we used his, which is why he hasn't got him yet. Sorry.
But this is the prize. This is the same prize for this week's Twitter trivia, and that will be coming up in the last half of the show. So stay tuned and watch Twitter trivia.
Are we presenting?
Yeah.
What do you want to present first?
Let's do that one last. So the first one is you get a little piece of the moon. This is a moon rock, and it's tiny, but this is a little bit of the moon. It's a moon meteor. Is it an asteroid? Meteorite. Moon meteorite that fell to Earth. So a little bit of the moon can be yours. In addition, you get a little bit of Mars. So we've got a little bit of moon, a little bit of Mars. So that's kind of cool. But we've also got this is
the coolest.
This is a piece of a meteor itself. This is pretty big, actually. This is a good size.
Yeah, it's I think it's nearly 8 grams. So I don't know if you can see this, which camera you want this on. I suppose there, we'll do that. And
it's not gonna work.
I know, but it's sizable, and it's a cross piece. So you can see all the little, I mean, some of it is like glittery and it's kind of swirly. It's one of the coolest things, I have to tell you. And I had to open it, OM, so I apologize. But now you have my DNA, so we're even, I think.
So that is what we've got coming up in the last half of the show. But before we get into that, in the first half of the show, I think it's time that we start with a little bit of space news. Open. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the open just like this the whole time. It's gonna be an awkward moment.
Space news.
There it is. Space. Coming up, college kids were able to radio the International Space Station. We're pretty sure that Iran may have launched.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. It was worth it. I like that open. I'll give you guys one of these too. This is the first time we've done Cam Twist in high definition, and we've got, this is bleeding edge stuff going on for this show.
So it's going to be a little confusing.
Yeah, you're going to forgive us for it.
Don't worry
We're
about it.
We're Vidcast. You guys love this stuff. All right, the first space, you've got the first space news item. That's the college kids, we have to hit, hang on, I'll do it.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, there are some college kids in Canada, which as far as I'm concerned is when you're in Canada, you're easily bored because really, what else is there to do in Canada? Much like being in Minnesota. But a few of them got together and they said, hey, I wonder if we could radio the ISS. Now keep in mind, something like this has been done, but usually they are scheduled events and it's all done by ham radio. What these particular kids did was completely redesign their kind of radio that they used. They did have a scheduled time period in which to talk to the ISS, and but so that's the first time that has ever been done. And they got to talk to the ISS. I don't know if we have a video. Do you remember?
We do.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Well, you'll throw to the video. It's not a voiceover video.
Okay, good. Something. Oh, yeah. So they redesigned the entire radio and got to talk to Sandra. Oh, I can't remember her name now.
Oh,
this is bad. Anyway, they got to talk to the ISS for an entire 10 minutes, which was really kind of cool. And they had some prepared questions and stuff like that. But this is the first time that anything like this particularly has happened, not speaking with a ham radio and not being an entire school. It was just a group of 5 or 6 college kids, and hopefully they get extra credit for that class.
It's kind of cool, actually. If Adam, if you've got that queued up, let's take a peek at the ISS student video.
3, 2, 1, we're live.
NA1SS, this is VA3JUV, Humber College, checking in for scheduled contact. Do you copy? NA1SS, this is VA3JUV, checking in from Humber College, scheduled contact. Do you copy?
I have you a little bit weak. Can you try again?
NA1SS, this is VA3JUV, your signal is okay. Do you copy? Over.
Yes, you're a little bit stronger now. I think we can go ahead.
What's your reaction when it actually happened?
Excitement and relief. Lots and lots of relief.
My 2 words would be huge relief and amazing pride.
When she answered back, that was her favorite moment. I mean, everybody was waiting for that moment, so I was ecstatic when she did call back.
This is Patrick Nealon. Do you feel that the ISS has brought the different countries together? Over.
Definitely, and that's what's so beautiful about this project. We have all these people from all over the world who share the dream of moving human beings into space, and it doesn't matter what country you're in, that common goal is there. It's just a really nice project to be on. Over.
This is Cherie Pickering. As you may know, in today's society, people have given up hope. What would you say to anyone whose eyes have not beheld the vast wonders of the world that you've been so privileged to have seen?
And I do feel very privileged. And I think I would have to say, up here I'm seeing the world from a different viewpoint. I see it as a host system. I don't see it as a group of individual people or individual countries or anything like that. It's just we are one huge group of people and we're all in it together. And you can enjoy the wonders of the planet by just being outside and looking at a tree or walking along a lake and enjoy it just as much as I can from up here. More so because you're in it. And so I would advise people to go do that. Over.
Was the actual audio?
I thought that was very cool. Like I said, I mean, they did get to talk to Sandra, Magnus, for about 10 minutes or so. I know, I'm so sorry, you guys. I completely blanked on that one. It's not like I don't know who she is or anything. It's not like I called her Patty, I mean, come on. But for some reason, blank. Anyhow, point is, but so I thought that was very cool. And it was again, something that hadn't been done before. And, it was just a couple of kids deciding to do it.
And now I want to have a permanent live link to the International Space Station, so the vidcasters, space vidcasters out there can be like, hey, I have a question. I have a question for Peggy.
Yeah, but you can only get it so.
Peggy being
a
former ISS
wait a
commander.
minute. You can only get it so often, when they're overhead, and so there's.
That's true. Yep,
just like a launch window, you can only have so much time. But yeah, no, that would be very cool. We should make our own radio.
Here's a little bit of trivia. Whenever you're looking at one of those NASA maps, like you're going to see in the STS-119 live coverage, you'll see these circles on the maps. Those are their live relay stations for radio. So you can actually see when they're in range of the different relay stations. I learned these things.
Yes.
Next news item. It is Iran maybe, possibly, we think, has launched a satellite. Well, they've launched something. We're not entirely sure if it actually made it up or what the deal is. Basically, no one knew about this launch going into it. It was kind of a little bit of a secret. And then they launched, they said, hey, we're going to do this. They launched it, and then after the fact, they have a video. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Iran launch video. They show us a bunch of the rocket launching, which is interesting that Iran now has launch capabilities and they can actually put things into orbit.
It's kind of freaking out the U.S., I'll put that out there.
Well, it is, because once you're able to put things into orbit, you can put big, nasty weapons
Anything
up
into
there.
orbit.
But I don't believe we actually have proof that they were successful in their mission.
Well, the other issue is that they say it's a telecommunications satellite.
Mm-hmm.
But they just say that. I mean, we don't really know. And I'm not trying to come down on Iran. Don't get me wrong. It's just that there are a lot of other countries that have clearly put things up into the air, and they kind of let people know about it. And this was a little bit shady. It was kind of behind closed doors. And honestly, until I saw the video, I didn't completely believe they even sent anything up. Because all I had seen was a couple of still pictures.
But you don't actually see anything past that point. I mean, you guys saw the extent of what we have for that. You show a vehicle going up, but for any Spacevidcaster out there who's seen the show, you know there's a lot more to a launch. It's about a 9-minute event.
Yeah,
it's about a 30-minute.
And they just kind of cut it off.
They do. They just kind of stop. And actually, they even show you the same shots over and over. It's about a 30-minute event to get something into insertion orbit. And I don't know. I mean, there are a billion things that could have gone wrong. For all I know, they put a satellite into orbit.
Right, and
I don't know.
Happy for them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's only one of like what 12 countries since like 57 or something like that when the USSR did it. So that's impressive. I mean, congratulations to them for that. I hope it went well. Just it was a little weird. Just the whole thing was a little strange.
Carbon X mentioned in the chat room, and he has a pretty good pulse on these things, that it looks like it was a successful launch, and they actually not only was a success. Carbon, if you could clarify, was it not only a successful launch, but did they put something, a satellite, into orbit? Because it's still, for me, it's still up kind of questionable. Not saying that they didn't, but I'm not completely sure it was 100% successful. So I would love to see if that's actually the case. Well, Carbon X is saying something was put in orbit, in quotes. We're not sure what.
They could have put another monkey up, is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, I don't think they put a monkey into orbit, and if so, ew. Well, regardless, this just really solidifies the new space race, I think, in that it's not just the U.S. and Russia this time. Now it's the U.S., Russia, Iran, China, Japan,
anybody,
India,
everybody.
And they're all trying to
Mexico's coming right up behind them all.
It's a race to space, and the next big items, big things there, I think, are going to be the moon, and that's already been done, but it's going to be a test bed for moving on to Mars. And there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of countries trying to get onto the moon, set up a test bed there, and then move on to Mars, I think, at least. Now, we're not starting to see that yet, but you know, with Carbon, thank you for all of that, but that's a whole lot of stuff for me to read.
Wow, we'll just, okay, great. That's
so you could, if you're watching the video on demand, just pause it really quickly with all of the lines of stuff that he pasted in there. Someone did copy and paste from Wikipedia. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, last news item.
Oh, goodness.
This one's yours.
Yeah, I know, and I kind of feel stupid because apparently I thought it was something else, and I
you want me to take it?
That would be great.
Okay.
Your turn.
My turn. So I'll take this particular news item. Oh! Yeah!
And
wow. See, this is what, look, we're in space right now. This is a very spacey section. Well, I'll keep talking anyhow, and you guys get to see a shot of the Mac OS X desktop.
Awesome.
Yeah. Basically what this is Google Earth has released an update. They have Google Earth version 5. I believe that was released a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. But one of the features of Google Earth version 5 is they now have 3D maps of Mars. So because they've got Mars, you can actually, just like in Google Earth, you can select, you can say, you know what, I want to see Mars now. And you can scroll around Mars and you can see a bunch of different 3D objects in Mars, and it's just really, really cool, and it's completely and totally free.
Well, one of the other things I really liked, I did actually look it up after you told me that I was completely wrong on whatever it is that I thought I was doing. You can look through all the different trenches and stuff like that, like you're saying, in 3D, but you have a couple of different ways to look at it. You can look at it in robotic, I'm sorry, what am I trying to say? You can toggle between neutral color and night vision, and then the rainbow-hued topographic views of the planet, which is really kind of cool. In any case, ta-da! At least you didn't run in front of my camera this time.
That's true.
So that was kind of neat. So it's not just looking at it. There's a couple different ways to look at it.
So anything you can do in Google Earth, you can do in the new Google Earth Mars edition.
Right. So any of the landings that have already happened, you can go and look at those specifically.
Actually, you can see like you have events, like you can see that right here on your screen. I mean, you can actually see the 3D objects right down in here, and you can tip and rotate and zoom. It's really cool what you can do.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, and it's completely free. You can go to Google. What is it? Google.
I don't know. We'll definitely have.
We'll have the link in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure. I know that much for sure.
Yep.
I thought that was very cool, and we were just talking about going from the moon onto Mars and stuff like that. So there you go.
And and now since we have Mars mapped out, we know where we're going to put our Martian base.
Right. Where's tomorrow's Mars?
Where is tomorrow's Mars? He needs to be talking about yeah, I think it is CarbonX. I think it is earth.google.com. Actually, Starbucks Stevie, this is where Carrie Ann's confusion came in. Google.com/Mars is something different.
Right.
Google.com/Mars is a 2D view of Mars. It doesn't have any of the 3D view type stuff. And so she thought that's what it was, and that's not the case. You have to download Google Earth, which is a standalone application for Mac and PC. And then inside of Google Earth, you can choose Mars, and that's what will give you the 3D perspective and some of the places you can zoom to. And
right, in and out and around and about.
Mystical, wonderful awesomeness.
Yes, that was my confusion. So we're driving over, and Ben's like, "You have this all wrong." And I was like, "Oh God, no! What do I do?
What is this? No!"
That's pretty much it.
Thank goodness for EVDO cards.
Which is why I stand to his right, so don't even start, okay?
All right. When we come back from break, oh wait, hang on. When we come back, we're going to be talking about where the money is in space travel. This is
where the space is in money.
Where the space is in money. Where the money is in privatized space. Because a lot of my friends have been saying, you know what, that's fine. I'm sure privatized space will be great, but you're not going to make any money past suborbital consumer flights of people flying up and down, because it's all about getting from point A to point B faster. There's no money on the moon, there's no money on Mars, and that's what we're going to be talking about when we come back from break. But before we go to break, we've got our TLA question. Our TLA for this week is, I failed.
Yeah, you did.
Wow,
good job with that.
I really failed.
And fail.
Our TLA this week is AAO, also known as OW. AAO. So let us know what you think AAO means right after this.
Hello and welcome to the Crow River Coffee Company in Watertown, Minnesota. Situated on the bank of the beautiful Crow River, we offer espresso drinks, delicious food, live music, bulk beans, and artisan items. You can see us at crowrivercoffee.com. Thanks.
break, we asked you what TLAAAO mean, and a bunch of the chatters said against all odds. I think one of them was a game.
That was a favorite one. Anglo-Austrian Observatory.
No, that's. I mean, all of these are AAO, but that's not what we're looking for. The answer to AAO is
Astronaut Activities Office, such as the JSC or Johnson Space Center.
So and you like that picture?
That was just like the picture.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
AAO is the Astronaut Activities Office. All right. Before we get into the main topic tonight, we have got a Twitter trivia question to stump your brains. Here's how Twitter trivia works. It's incredibly difficult to say.
Apparently. That's why I let you say it. I'm not gonna
We're going to ask you a question in a moment, and we're going to have you submit your answer to @Spacevidcast using your Twitter account. You must start your answer with @Spacevidcast.com. Not a direct message and not after the show. You've got to do it right here, right now, and submit the answer to the following question for our Twitter trivia question. And that question is, which astronaut of the original 7 holds the record for the longest space flight of the Mercury project? So that is the question, and as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have got the really super awesome cool prize. We've got the moon rock, a little bit of the moon. We've got the Martian rock, a little bit of the Mars, boom, and we've got the meteor, boom, and these all have certificates certifying that, yeah, no, this isn't just a speck of sand.
Like this one tells you where it was found, the class that it's in, the weight, description, any sort of remarks, all of that fun stuff. This one happens to be found in Morocco, Algeria. So that was kind of cool.
Carbon's asking if he can play again just for the heck of it. And yes, actually, you can play again. However, you're not eligible this week, but you will be eligible next week. We're not that evil, but you can only win. You can't win back to back.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, for those of you who are not watching this show live, first, for shame. But we don't want to leave you guys out because you are watching on demand, and so you get a
wag of the finger.
No, wag of the finger. So we want to reward the guys watching on demand, especially if you watch the show live and you're like, that was so awesome, I want to watch it again on demand, because it's true.
Why not?
So every Tuesday we have another Twitter trivia question, and you can win then. So make sure that you're following Twitter. Follow
Twitter anyway.
I'll be over here.
Follow us on Twitter. It's twitter.com/spacevidcast. I don't know where he's going. Anyway, what you want to do is right around noon-ish Central Standard Time, we send out a little tweet, a little bit of a question. 9 times out of 10, it has something to do with Spacevidcast specifically. Gotta love that. I think it's me. I think I'm the one who crashes Cam Twist, but we'll ignore that. Anyhow, so you have to kind of know the Spacevidcasters a little bit, something like that. I think this last one was about me personally, that I haven't always worn glasses. What was the first episode in which I did wear glasses? And if I remember correctly, that was actually won by Snibble this week. Is that correct?
I have no idea. I don't keep up with any of that.
Snibble?
I'm a horrible
Can you
being.
confirm that for me? I believe it was Snibble. I believe it was Gonzo last week. And then it was also Birding Goats who won the last week's Twitter trivia during the live show.
One more quick thing before we get into our main topic, and that is, according to my timeline rundown, which I have right here, top secret rundown type thing, I am supposed to have a coffee of the month in this video, and I am a complete and total slacker and did not complete the graphic for the coffee of the month. But we are hosted for free by Crow River Coffee Company in the back of the coffee shop. I was going to call it the coffee warehouse, and that is not correct.
We're kind of in the warehouse.
We're in the back of the coffee shop in a studio space that they have graciously given to us for this show, which is awesome. They don't charge us anything for it, and in return, we want to make sure that they are taken care of. And so if you go to www.crowrivercoffee.com, the coffee of the month is actually the French roast. So, the reason you want a coffee of the month is because hold happens a lot at 2 o'clock a.m.
And
your
you
local
need
time,
some coffee.
And you're going to need some coffee to stay awake for that launch.
Heck, we need coffee just to do the show.
Oh, yeah, we do. So let's go ahead and get started with the main topic, which is, where is the profit in space travel? Go.
Mars.
Great. Thank you for coming.
Actually, I think asteroids.
Well,
that's my favorite answer.
There are a bunch of different profit centers for privatized space travel to go beyond suborbital flights.
Okay.
Now, I think we've already kind of proven that there is a profit section for suborbital flight in in Virgin Galactic, X-Core, Armadillo
It's got to be the
Aerospace.
best roller coaster ride ever, right? I mean, just given that. It's got that one hell of a view. You go just about straight up. You come just about straight down. I mean, that's just awesome.
Yep.
Not to mention that, just kind of like what other people were saying, that it's a time saver for you to go straight up and then straight down and end up on the other side of the world.
Exactly. So there are going to be several different things. First, it's just going to be for fun, for just I want to go to space.
Right. And I have the money to do so. So nanny boo boo.
So at first that's going to be where they're going to make their money, and they're having a hard time keeping these. I mean, they're selling lots of these tickets, and they're not even flying any of these things yet.
Huge waiting lists.
So there is a market there, but eventually that will dry up, and it's going to turn into being able to travel from point A to point B very rapidly, much like the Concorde, but faster and cooler.
Right.
But past that, where's the money on the moon? Where's the money on, you step beyond the moon, where's the money on Mars? A lot of my friends say, well, there's not going to be privatized travel there because only governments can afford to do that. It costs too much money, and there's really not a whole lot of science to be had there. And to them, I say, what?
What?
So I'm going to propose a couple different things that I think will be money and profit centers for the moon. Now, I'm going to need some help from the chat room because this is over my head. Just
I like
straight
the
up.
moon. Oh.
Because it is close to us.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
H3, which is heavy hydrogen.
I believe so. I'm going to look it up while you keep talking.
Heavy hydrogen, which can be used for controlled nuclear fission or fusion. Fission, the opposite of the sun, I think. Whatever.
I have to look it up again.
It can basically can be used for power. It can be used to power the country, which helps bring our dependence on foreign oil down. Fusion, thank you, USKO. So H3 is found naturally on the moon, which is my understanding, but not naturally on Earth. So there's a ton of it sitting on the moon. If we just mine that, we have a power generation. I don't think I'm thinking of He3. No, that's helium-3, isn't it? I mean, I could be. See, this is why I have the chat room. We've got a lot of stuff on the moon, right? We've got a chemical that we can use on the moon. Here's all I know. We've got a chemical we can use on the moon.
It's tritium, Tritium. I'm probably totally pronouncing that incorrectly, with a symbol of just the capital T or the symbol of a 3 and then an H. But it's also known as hydrogen-3. It's a radioactive isotope of hydrogen.
This is why we have a computer right here.
Yes.
Again, we're speaking over my head. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that this is not my normal area of expertise. But this is something. When I'm talking to some of the space nerds, they're like, yeah, no, this is one of the things that we're going to get. H3 is ozone. Thank you, Ken. Where we're going to get money from the moon. Yeah, I'm making a very convincing argument today, aren't I? But this is one of those things, right? So we can go there. We can mine this material and bring it back to Earth. And at that point, USKO brings up an interesting point, which is we have no idea if the fusion reactors will work. Okay, that's fair enough. But we need to do something to get off of. I mean, we have to fix what we're doing from an energy standpoint on the Earth. And this is one step that can make it go. Now, if we can mine this, we've got a huge resource of this material on the moon, bring it back to the Earth, whop, bam, boom, there you go. Privatized space industry for doing nothing but mining minerals and 3H, sorry, I keep saying H3, 3H from the moon. O3 is ozone. Okay, now we're getting into a chemical argument in the in the chat room. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Someone knows this stuff. Someone is smarter than us at this particular topic. Go to spacevidcast.com and educate us on the substance that is. I know there is a substance on the moon,
hydrogen-3,
that we can mine and use for power equals money. So step 1, collect underpants. Step 2, step 3, profit. That's
there you
what
go.
I'm saying.
And that's all we're saying.
All right, here's the one that I know a little bit more
Thank you,
about.
Gordon Cooper, GK.
Where's the money on going to Mars? Well, there's an asteroid belt over in Mars's vicinity. over Mars's way.
Marsopolis.
Marsopolis. Yeah. There's an asteroid belt right over there, and it's estimated that each asteroid flying in that belt is worth about 100 billion with a B, $billion US in minerals alone.
On each asteroid.
On each asteroid. That means that you mine one asteroid, you've got $100 billion worth of potential material. You mine that, ship it to Mars for processing, then ship it back over to Earth in its slightly more condensed form. That cuts down on your weight requirements for space travel. Getting in and out of the Earth atmosphere is, I believe, harder than getting out of Mars's atmosphere. I think it's less atmosphere on Mars.
Something like that.
All right, process it on Mars using your Mars processing facilities. Ship it on over to the Earth. Whop, bam, boom. There you go. One trip, $100 billion. I think you'd be able to pay for all of your R&D and everything within like 2 or 3 asteroids. And you've got a cajillion of those things over there. That's a real number, a cajillion. A cajillion. Well, now, there is a problem with that, though.
Yes.
And the problem is supply and demand.
Right.
You know, we increase the amount of material. Let's just say that there's $100 billion worth of gold on one asteroid. It's a pure gold asteroid. That's not the case, but let's pretend because
it would be cool.
That would be really cool. $100 billion worth of gold suddenly injected into the economy is going to take the value of gold and force it to plummet. So now Carbon is saying it would take 6 months to get there, mine it, and then 6 months to get back. But I don't think it's the time necessarily that's important. It's the amount, it's how much is there, the amount of money that you can mine out of it. So you set up, these processing stations and you optimize your whole thing from point A to point B.
There's money in just figuring this stuff out,
Absolutely.
by the way.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying we have to send humans to the asteroids to mine them. Far from it, actually. I think we should send robots to the asteroids, have them mine it.
Wally.
Wally. Eve. Send robots to the asteroids, have them mine it, and then have that sent to Mars, where we've got little humans and little humans. Only little ones.
They're actually quite tall because there's not as much gravity.
As Ed SG says, $1 gazillion a year is not that bad.
Exactly.
It is a phenomenally large amount of money in materials that are on the asteroid. The other benefit is that we've only got a finite number of resources here on Earth, and because of that, external resources or external factors for those is a good thing. For example, when we want to build a giant Ben spaceship, we're going to need a lot of unobtainium, and that's going to be on the asteroid.
Anyway, so while we got the camera on me, I'll just take it. I think there's lots of money in space tourism, and not just getting into LEO, but getting beyond LEO, getting onto the moon, getting onto Mars. I mean, they've got hot springs up there, right? Arizona's gone crazy over that kind of crap. Why don't we just go all the way to Mars and do it? You got the most spectacular view ever. I mean, it's got to be amazing. I'm sure Mars mud opens up the pores like nobody's business. But really, I mean, honestly, and the other thing that kind of we were talking about is...
Well, I think, let me stop you for a moment, if I may. I think it's going to be the moon for space tourism first. Because on Mars, you're not going to really be able to, you're going to see the Earth just as well as you can see Mars from here. Are you really going to freeze that entire time till I let you start again?
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
But realistically, who wouldn't want to go, let's say we opened, Virgin Galactic started doing travel to the moon, and they had a space condo set up on the moon. You could, or a space hotel on the moon, have a romantic weekend on the space condo, which is designed to show you pretty much that picture right there.
That's what you would see. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
That's right as you go into warp. So you go to the moon, and you would see a beautiful Earthrise. And you'd be able to see, the Earth from our moon. You'd be able to...
Yeah, and have an actual picture of you saying, "Hi, Mom," in front of the Earthrise, as opposed to some sort of stupid Photoshop thing, which we know everyone has done anyhow.
Comes in iChat, actually.
It comes in, yes, it does.
Yep.
Anyhow, but all right, that's fine. That's great. Yes, of course, the moon first, don't get me wrong. But onto Mars, I mean, really, right? That just makes sense to me.
Well, I think it's the next natural step.
Well, and then my other feeling was, once you have people there, even if it's on a semi-regular basis, they're going to get hungry, they're going to get thirsty, and let's face it, astronaut food is not the tastiest stuff. Everybody knows it.
To that.
Right. So, I mean, really, have you had astronaut ice cream or like those astronaut power bar things? I love you, Mom and Dog. You got me some for Christmas, but they are nasty, okay? So, in my mind, they're going to want Starbucks. Because who doesn't want Starbucks, really? Right, Starbucks? Eh? Yeah?
They're going to want Crow River coffee.
There you go. They're going to want Crow River coffee. Whatever it is, they're going to want some sort of piece of home, right? And whoever can get it to them first is going to make the money. Because if there's one Starbucks in the whole planet, everyone's going to go there, right? There's one McDonald's on the whole planet, you're going to go there.
Well, there's also going to be money in figuring out how to get meat on these different areas. And,
because these meatless Thursdays ain't flying with me.
To sum up, here's where we think the money is going to be. Mining asteroids near Mars and processing it there. Steve, I'm glad Steve just joined us. He can watch Cam 2's
Mud packs and Crow River coffee.
So the other point is going to be on the moon, 3H or HE3 or whatever it is. There's a substance that will be able to mine
I don't know,
will solve multiple problems, a power problem here on Earth, and then actually it will open up space. There's another one which is space solar power. Go.
And the Space Olympics.
Space Olympics.
Yes, for those of you who watch SNL, and my favorite, Annie. Anyhow.
All right, so we seem to be crashing Cam Twist every time we switch cameras. Is that correct, Adam?
Not every time.
Yeah, just about.
Why don't we just stay in camera?
We'll just stay on camera too.
Stay on camera too for the rest of the show.
He can just step out of my shot. It's not that big of a deal.
We'll get Steve a air crash log sometime soon. That's 4 crashes this one show?
Yes.
Yes! All right, go us. This is why we're an internet show.
Okay.
So, there's space-based solar power where you want to get above our atmosphere and beam that power back down via microwave or whatever. There's a ton of money to be had in space. It's not just governments that can do this stuff. There's a ton of money to be had in space. The problem is it takes a lot of money to make this money. But whoever gets there first, well, not necessarily first, but whoever does it and is able to monetize on it, they're going to be...
Well, and again, the point isn't to get out into space just because we can. We need to get off of this rock. We have to do it. And we can't do it when it's blowing up into pieces. We have to do it before then. We have to figure this stuff out before then. And like we've said before, the advances that we have to make in order to get ourselves out into space and onto the moon and onto Mars are going to benefit us down here on Earth.
Yep, and they did.
It's a trickle effect. That's just what happens.
So that's where we think the money is in space. Where do you think the money is in privatized space travel? Government's not included. I mean, NASA can do a whole lot of stuff, and they can, privatized space travel can get their money from NASA, but no NASA funding, no government funding whatsoever. Where is the actual profit to be had in space? Go to spacevidcast.com, click on this episode, and please let us know. This is episode 204, 2.04. So let us know where you think, and continue the conversation at spacevidcast.com. Before we started our main topic, we asked you guys a question, a Twitter trivia question, which was, which astronaut of the original 7 holds the record for the longest space flight of the Mercury project? You have to do them both. Like that.
I can do that.
That's okay. This question right here. So, which astronaut of the original 7 holds the record of the longest space flight for the Mercury project? And I'm delaying so that we can get an answer for you. There we go. And have you found a winner? No, I'll just throw it up on screen.
Not a big deal.
Give us the answer first.
We will figure it out.
The answer is Leroy Gordon Cooper. Leroy
Jenkins.
Gordon.
So yes, commonly known as Gordon Cooper, also known as Gordy, or Gordo, sorry. So there you go. So whoever got that first at the @SpaceVidcast Twitter, you are our winner. Unfortunately, we don't know who that is at the moment, but we will figure that out. Yes, Ken, that's who I was doing it.
Go to it if you got it. Watch this magic. Boom!
Snibble?
Snibble!
OMG!
SpaceVidcast regular Snibble just won over $100 in rocks and things that are not of this world. Not of this world. So Snibble, you just won this little piece of the moon, this little piece of Mars, and this big piece of some sort of asteroid type thing. What was this?
It's a meteoroid.
Meteorite.
It's very cool.
It actually is here.
It's very cool.
Little zoomy,
yeah.
manual zoomy. You're not going to be able to look at that. You got the certificate of authenticity in that thing. It's just awesome.
It's very cool, you guys.
So
very
cool.
And
Snibble, congratulations.
Don't worry, we will eventually run out of different kinds of prizes, so we'll start recycling them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, my goal is to make the prizes get bigger and bigger and bigger. So right now, the live show prizes are going to be around $100, and the non-live show on-demand prizes will be around $10 or $20. Starbucks is yelling. Starbucks said she got it first.
You know what? We will double check.
Well, hang on, guys. Though it's not just the first thing; it's whoever Adam goes to. Adam essentially is the judge, so it's not just first. It's also getting it right. And what?
What? I didn't say anything.
I'm just saying, generally first. So, anyhow.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
There's a lot of answers on the previous page. I didn't click on older.
So not only was Snibble not first. He was not even close to first. Doesn't matter. He won anyhow. That's how we work. That's how we roll here.
Booyah!
It's whatever you say goes. That's what goes. Don't worry, Starbucks. We have really. I would just say that the Twitter trivia questions have been getting cooler and cooler week after week. So fear not, very cool stuff coming up in the near future. Are you mumbling to yourself over there?
He is. It's awesome.
We're going to end this show this time. You can watch us live next week and next week only, because the following weeks, assuming Starbucks Steve quits. Assuming that STS-129...
Assuming STS-119 goes off on the 19th.
We will not have a show. We will have a pre-show. You know what, guys? It's been a long day. You gotta give me a break here. We will have pre-show coverage of STS-119 launch, as well as landing of STS-119 coverage of that. But we will not do the live Spacevidcast shows during that. We do have continuous coverage of STS-119 on the Spacevidcast website, so check us out. But anyhow, next week, join us right here at 2 o'clock a.m. Friday, Coordinated Universal Time. If you live in the United States, that's on Thursday nights, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock p.m. Central, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If you don't know what your time zone offset is, just go to spacevidcast.com. We've got a cool little thing. What?
He's double checking on who was first.
Oh yeah, no, Starbucks, you beat him, but he still won the prize.
No, Snibble.
Oh, Snibble beat Starbucks?
That's what we're saying.
Oh, Snibble beat Starbucks by 2 minutes, so you would have lost anyhow, even if we did a first thing. So Adam should learn. No, Starbucks, you would have lost fair and square if we did a first thing. So anyhow, we'll make it up to you. Oh, mom dog. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next week. Here's a credit roll. I'm going to stand awkwardly as Adam loads it up. Oh, he had it right away. Good night! Thank you! That was our last technical